Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Today we are talking about the removal of my tattoo. But before we go into that, my name is Pumi Dukwe and my channel is for women between the ages in their late 20s and early 30s about holistic personal development. So why did I take out my tattoo? The only person who knew all these years that I want to remove my tattoo is my sister. So by the time I did it, she was the only person who was not shocked. Other people were like, why did you remove it? You had a tattoo. There are people who were literally shocked at the fact that I had a tattoo. Understandably so. So my tattoo was on my right foot, at the base of my foot. So you literally had to look at me to see it. People at church didn't even know that I have a tattoo because we always are obliged to wear stockings. So you really can't see. But yes, I had a tattoo. I had it since I was in high school. We had money. Like in high school, we had lots of money. I was inspired by a white lady who was a netball umpire at the D2 trials. So I saw it and I immediately fell in love with it. And I literally say the next time my parents sent me moolah, I'm going to go and do my tattoo. So one Saturday morning when we were allowed to go to town in boarding school, then me and my friends decided to do certain things. Some were doing their tattoos, some were doing piercings. I've never had a piercing. I do want one though for my ears. So we did all that. And this year went on, like the first week of February, I told myself, you know what? I am done with this. I don't want this thing anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And it was a very personal conviction. That's why I did not discuss it with anyone, not even my boyfriend, not even my dad. Like there was no conversation whatsoever with anyone. I told everybody after I went and did it. Obviously, my boyfriend had to drive me there because it's a 1-hour drive. So I chose a lady it's only 2 of them in South Africa who do that method, which is called the aggressive method. So there are 2 types of methods. There's aggressive and linear. Linear, you just go for like a week, like maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on the agreement, the size and all that, the ink, the depth, the color and all that. But with me, I wanted it to be a once-off thing. I really wanted to get rid of it and I just wanted the aggressive method. So the linear one, it's less painful. It obviously takes way longer to completely leave your body or to completely be removed. It can take like 3 to 4 years. It can take 2 years, depending. It's all dependent on you, the type of tattoo, how long it's been. All those things matter. I know they say Beyonce took out her tattoo after 2 days. I can't imagine how that went. But tattoos are really excruciating things to remove. If you go online and you check people who have removed them, they will tell you that it's excruciating. That's why people would rather cover them, or people would rather leave them there, because covering it is actually not as painful as removing it. Removing a tattoo is really, really excruciating pain. I couldn't walk for exactly 3 weeks. Like I could walk. There was never a time I could not walk, but I was using crutches. Like I couldn't walk independently by myself. My one foot, which is the foot where I removed the tattoo, could not touch the ground. Like it was so painful for it to touch the ground. So I literally could not do that. But that is the one side of it. The other side of it is that it was just a conviction from God, man. I really didn't have to discuss it with someone because it was a decision between me and God. It's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I just did not resonate with it anymore. I didn't want it anymore. And I felt like even the reason to have it was not like, I know some people's tattoos are very, very sentimental. And yes, mine was also sentimental actually. But it was not enough for me not to listen to God's voice when he said it has to be removed. And I remember somebody asking me why. I love the person who asked me that question, because this is also somebody who's in Christ. So it was easy for me to then answer the question because it's not coming where I'm going. It's not welcome on the journey that I'm about to go on. And I don't know what is that journey. I don't have the specifics of that journey. I don't know where God is taking me. I don't know where he's taking me, where the tattoo was not allowed, but it was literally that. So let's go into the process, the procedure, the cost and all that. Number one, mine costed 2,000 all in all, and that's only because I've included the scar removal in the cost. So that means I'm going to remove the scar as well after it has completely healed and everything. And then it was a once-off thing. I really think it was that amount. I can't remember, but it was not expensive. It was not more than 2.5 because it's been 6 months. So I found the lady online on Facebook and Instagram. So I was Googling and I was searching, I was setting appointments. They want your picture. So the picture and the size really tell the cost. You know, my tattoo was very small, like literally this small. So I think that is why it costed the amount that it costed. And the procedure took 45 minutes. And that's because I think of the size as well, you know. So your case might be way different than mine. And also the body part matters. Like they will ask, that's the first question they ask, where is it? You know, so obviously when it's on your face, it's a different conversation. But mine was on my foot on the right hand side. So I went there and she said she was shocked that I came because I've been postponing. And then she said she is used to that because it's not an easy decision, and simply because of the pain, not because people don't want to remove their tattoos, but it's really a painful procedure. Like it's literally fire on your skin. And the foot is even more dangerous, not dangerous, but more painful because there isn't a lot of tissue. Like you see here, there isn't a lot of tissue as compared to here maybe, or your thighs. You know, it's not the same body parts. So I went there on a Saturday morning. I didn't tell anyone. Like it's just me and my boyfriend who knew, and my boyfriend also knew on the morning. He was kind of very skeptical, and the only problem with him was the pain. Like he knew that I'm not going to be able to endure the pain. He knew how much the pain, how I'm going to be responding to the pain. So that was his biggest worry. Like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Drive me there. So we went there, got there, and he was given the option to sit inside or not. And he was like, nope, I ain't sitting inside. I'm not looking at that. So the procedure is literally they numb you, so the numbing cream, but the numbing doesn't take away the actual pain of removing or the laser being on your skin. So I was screaming. Like they gave me a teddy, they gave me different things. I was just screaming throughout the process. But the nice thing about her is that she literally just burns you and then she stops, and then she burns, and she doesn't do like once off where you can't even uncontrollably in pain. No. And that's what takes long, is the fact that she has to stop every after maybe a centimeter of a burn or something like that. Like she has to completely stop, right? And then mine also had color, so that was also one of the most difficult part. And then there was like, let's say the tattoo is square, ne? So the square was a tattoo, and then inside there was nothing. So instead of her scraping, she had to literally go by the line so that it's not as painful as it should be. And then after 45 minutes, I was done. Then there's what you call an after process immediately, which is the salt osmosis. She said that's more painful than the actual laser removal. For me, it was other way around, and she was also very shocked. She was like, wow, I thought the salt osmosis would be more painful for you, the way you reacted to the actual laser removal. And then we left. I got ice cream. It was not painful that day. The following day, I met my great-grandparents the following day. Like, it was so painful. It was excruciating. I was crying. I had to do the treatment of the salt osmosis. It was so excruciating, and I had to do that every single day. And I was crying every single day. I was crying. Like, it was so hard for me. And here is the cost that I did not think would come with it, which is the emotional cost. Like, especially when I got home, I remember asking, why do I cry so much when I get home? Because during the day, I even forget about the pain. I'm at work. You know, at work, they obviously also made exceptions for me, how I can sit, where I can sit. I would have my pillow and all those things. But it was excruciating. When I get home, I would then cry because that's when I have to do the salt osmosis thing. And she said to me, it's because when you get home, that's when you get to be alone. And that's when you get to understand the pain that you're going through. And that's when you actually get to experience the pain and feel it. And everything else is down now. All your guards are down. So that's when you can actually be in pain and feel the pain and sit with the pain. The other most painful part was, so my foot had to be elevated most of the time. Like 90% of the time my foot was elevated. The only time it was not elevated, it was when I'm in the Uber because I couldn't drive. And then it was when I was at work, and even when I sleep. Like I slept with my what do you call it, the pillow, the big pillow. I know there's a name for it, but yeah. I slept with that. So my foot was 90% of the time, if not 95% of the time, elevated. But the time it was not elevated, it was super, super painful. Like I would then scream when I had to go down. I remember one of my colleagues, she would literally wanted to cry with me. She's like, oh my goodness, Mpumi, you're in so much pain. I'm like, yeah, I am, But it's Christ. And I remember one of my other colleagues as well, who was also very, very Christ-centered. He was, when I told him, because he had tattoos, like, what do they call it? Yeah, covers, what. He had that. And when I told him that the reason why I removed my tattoo is because of Christ, like he never stopped questioning me, like how, because I could see like he feels very bad and he feels very guilty for having the tattoo, and like that was not the point, but I mean, and that was really not the point. It had nothing to do with anybody but everything to do with me. And somebody would ask me, would I have a tattoo again? I'm like, no, I would never have a tattoo again, even though I still find some tattoos beautiful. Like the other day, somebody showed me their tattoo and I told them about my tattoo remover, and I'm like, it's nice, so I don't have any, I have nothing against tattoos or somebody having it. It's a personal choice. But then what I realized after saying to that person, when I said, your tattoo is nice, I then said, but it's okay. Like, I don't have the same relationship that I had with them a long time ago. And then the interesting part was also the response from people around me and the comments that people would make. That was very frustrating. When people found out that I can't walk or my foot is painful or I can't do certain things because of my tattoo removal, it's as though they were disappointed. Like it's as though people are expecting that I was in a car accident or I fell, or like, you put yourself through that? I'm like, yeah, I did that. For Christ, I did that for myself. So yes, that's the reason why I can't walk. That's the reason why I can't come to church. That's the reason why I can't do certain things. And it's like people were disappointed by that. And then also one of the comments that I'll never forget that has never made sense, and I think it's one of the reasons why I've learned to keep quiet, is that comment specifically. So this person says to me, I don't know anybody in my life who has removed their tattoo. And then there are follow-up questions that, when are you healing? Like, but not in a question of concern. It's like, it's been so long, like, you don't know anybody who has removed it. So how would you know how long it should take? Who said how long it should take? So it was like, your question is not, you don't have the knowledge of this. So how would you have the knowledge of when you're supposed to heal? Like, aren't you healing? Like, who are you? So those are things that will irritate me. And then people would have so many suggestions, as if I didn't do this at a professional therapist. Like, you must use this. You must put on this. You must put it in there. You must do it. Like, it is the process. You cannot ignore a process of something. That is why I went to a professional. The only one in Johannesburg. The only one in Gauteng. That is why I chose her in the first place. So people had so many opinions, and I would just sit. I remember somebody, I can't remember what somebody said, right? And I said like, so you went to Medunsa? And then she was like, no, I didn't go to Mac. Oh no, your opinion sounded like somebody who has a medical background. And she was so offended. I didn't feel good about saying that. And that's when I started to keep quiet when people made opinions. Somebody made an opinion of, the things you guys did when you were teenagers, now you're having regrets. I had so much to say. I had so many comments to say, but I didn't say them, because the thing about making comments, ugly and snarks remarks, is that you are the one who's going to feel bad after it, as God's child. At least when I clap back, I don't enjoy it. After that, I feel like, that was unnecessary. So yeah, there was the public or the response of people. But would I do it again? Removing of my tattoo, yes, I definitely would do it again. Would I ever do a tattoo again? Nope, I'm not doing that ever again. And then I am so grateful that I made the decision. I am so grateful that I did not have a party about the decision to make in the first place. And I would recommend it. It feels so good. It feels like there's a part of me that I did not like that I removed. And I actually look forward to my life without a tattoo. I did it in secret. My parents didn't know that I had a tattoo. They only saw it when I came back from home for the holidays. Obviously, they were unhappy, but they could not remove it. You know, my mom was very disappointed. But I think it's one of the things that they expect when you go to boarding school. Like, they don't know what you're going to do without them. They don't know what you're going to do without seeing them when they are not in your presence. Also, a lot of frustration that came with it. Not being able to walk. It's so frustrating not being able to go to the gym. I didn't think I would not be able to go to the gym for 6 months. The healing was supposed to take like 3 months, you know, but the entire healing was 6 months. I just thought that I'll be able to go back to the gym and do certain things. That was the most frustrating part of this process. But I had to come to learn that that's exactly where God wanted me to be, because for the past 3 years or 4 years I've been running, like I've been on a journey of personal development, personal growth, non-stop. You know, June I'm on a challenge. Every single month, every single quarter I'm doing things. I'm always moving, I'm always doing things, and I'm always pushing myself hard. And I thought the tattoo removal was just about that, but I learned that it was really not about that only. And I think that is why I'm where I am, even spiritually. I'm in a very, very good space, and my conviction is just deeper. My relationship with Christ is just on another level. Like, I've lost friendships, I've lost people, I've lost interest. I've lost interest in things that I thought I was interested in. I've lost appetite for certain things, you know, and that's because I think, or I know for sure now, that the tattoo removal was only the beginning of that process. It was only the beginning of me having to root out, then layer up the skin. I remember even when the first layer of my skin was coming off, it was such a beautiful process that I said to myself, this was the reason why I had to remove my tattoo. Like, going through the stage of where on a Saturday morning I can't do anything. Like, I couldn't even cook because I couldn't stand for long. Even when I was then able to walk, I couldn't even cook because God literally wanted me seated down. And what else can you do when you're sitting down? Either than holding a book, reading, watching videos, watching sermons, studying. There's absolutely nothing that you can do either than that. So I believed that that is exactly where God wanted me to be. And I've moved forward in life with that. Every time that you can't move or you can't do certain things, it's because that's where God wants you to be. So I was sitting down. There was even a time where I had what you call bed sores because I was always sitting down. I couldn't walk, and I couldn't believe that I couldn't walk. And that's when I started also appreciating health, like being healthy and being able to move your body, being able to cook your own food. I literally started appreciating those little things. I appreciated my ability to wake up in the morning and pack my gym bag and literally go to the gym. And I couldn't do that at my fullest capacity, you know. And even now, as much as I'm back at the gym and I'm exercising, I still have to be cautious because then when I put too much pressure on it, it then swells and then it becomes pussy and then I can't go back. So it's still a process of healing, but in terms of the pain is completely gone. It's just that the scar now has to be scar, like it has to be flat. But I then also felt like I can't wait until it's flat for me. I get back into the routine of life. And I think that is okay now. I think I did go through what God wanted me to go through. I did have a lot of one-on-one with God. That's why I'm saying there was a lot of tears. Like, I cried so much in the first half of this year than I've ever cried in a long time in my life, if I can even remember, because I was crying every single week. I was eating Uber Eats almost every day actually. I was eating. It was only on Sundays where the ladies from church, like my sisters in Christ, would then cook lunch for me, would bring me lunch. And that was not every Sunday. I mean, in 6 months, that was not every Sunday, you know. So I think Pedro's must just commend me. They must just sponsor me or something, because I would eat that, because that was the healthiest and most homely meal I could eat every now and again. I couldn't literally cook, and that's when I saw the importance also of community. Like, the people in your life are very, very important. You know, you get to see the people in your life during that time. You get to see how people can help you, how people can assist you, to what a length and extent people are willing to hold you by the hand. So I know for sure that I had to go through that. I know for sure that it is God who wanted me to remove my tattoo, because there's nothing about it that I regret. Not the timing, not, somebody said, why didn't you do it in December? When I'm like, I didn't care. Like, that didn't matter to me. What mattered is that the tattoo is removed. And also the lady or the therapist is so, like, she made me feel better every single day, because I had to send her a picture every day, or if I have an infection or anything like that. And she was so supportive. Like, she gave me so much support that I will never trade for anything. I would recommend it. It's the Needle Nest in Hartbeespoort, and that was so amazing. So I'm really grateful to God that I went to the process. And it's also part of growing up, making decisions for yourself, asking yourself, like, is this the person that you want to be? Do you want to be a person who has a tattoo? And that is for any other decision. Do you want to be a person who's overweight, for example? Do you want to be a person who's broke financially? Do you want to be a person who's unhealed, who lives through their traumas, who is easily triggered, like who is easily offended? Like, you make these decisions alone, and then after you make decisions, you don't get to choose what happens then, but you can do anything and everything through Christ who gives us strength. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.